Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. I can't hear you. Aye, aye, Captain. And for those of you who were cool enough to actually do it with me, it's awesome. If you're not, fuck it. Let's go into it. So, as you can see from the title, it's Nostalgia Rush. And as you can also see from the title, it's SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants. And people are probably wondering,
SpongeBob is not an old school cartoon. It's still airing on TV today. So how does this count for Nostalgia Rush?
well, for those who don't know, SpongeBob started in 1999. So it's just teetering on that edge. Which is funny, because Samurai Jack was also a 2000s anime, so it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, SpongeBob's not old school. Samurai Jack is old school. No, Samurai Jack only feels old school because it has a cult following, and because it didn't last as long as SpongeBob did. And I'm not going to be one of those people who goes, SpongeBob always sucked. SpongeBob's humor is that type of humor that most people don't really get. Simply put, SpongeBob's humor is dumb shit, ridiculous humor. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't clever jokes in there. I'm just saying most of SpongeBob's humor is usually that dumb shit humor. And I am going to make the statement that SpongeBob before is a lot better than it is now. Now, do I currently watch SpongeBob? No. I think I stopped watching SpongeBob a little bit after the movie came out, and I believe 2006 is when the movie came out. A little bit after that is when I stopped watching SpongeBob, and particularly because that's when SpongeBob started taking that kind of gearing to that whole. I think really what set me off of not watching it anymore was particularly that, because I think one of the next few episodes after that movie came out was, oh look, there's an episode with Johnny Depp in it, and I was like, yeah, we've hit that line. See, what SpongeBob's humor makes it great is that it's so kind of random and off the wall, but it also plays on a lot of dirty inside jokes. And they knew how to keep things balanced. From what I've seen in the new SpongeBob stuff, they're really pushing the retardation. Like, SpongeBob has always had dumb shit humor, but like the level of ridiculousness and also homosexual undertones in SpongeBob currently is ridiculous. Nothing against homosexuals. I'm just saying, SpongeBob and Patrick are friends. That's all they are. Nick, I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but no. Never again. No. But anyways, I brought you to talk about what I do like about SpongeBob. I like SpongeBob for a few reasons, actually, because you gave me kind of a man-child. I mean, for those who don't realize, that's what SpongeBob himself is, a man-child. He's like, because he's grown, from what we understand from what episodes have hinted, like he's already been to prom from the Pearl episode, he has a job, he lives by himself, his parents kicked him out. I'm assuming the only thing I don't think we don't know is whether he went to school or not, which I don't really believe he did, and if he did, he didn't learn a goddamn thing. SpongeBob is the definition of a man-child. He's like a grown man that has the mentality of like a 10-year-old, and that's being generous. And I like him for it. It works for him because it allows him to be in situations that logically you would know how to get out of. But SpongeBob, being the 10-year-old man-child that he is, comes up with the most ridiculous shit. And I'm not gonna lie, I do like the most older episodes better, but I do like a lot of the newer ones I saw before I stopped watching. And for those who may not want to admit it, SpongeBob movie was like one of the greatest fucking. I love that movie. I love that movie so goddamn much. Musicals, ridiculousness. There are so many quotable lines from that fucking movie. Did you see my underwear, Mindy? No, Patrick. Did you want to? We're on the block. I forget how specifically it goes. It's like, oh yeah. He drive by and he's like, and one of the dudes, and they like pass these redneck fish, and they're like, so where you guys going? We're going to Shell City. It's like, you two aren't gonna make it 5 minutes over the county line. It's like, oh yeah, we'll see about that. And they drive over to the county line, and then they get robbed literally immediately after. And they're like, how long was that? He was like, 12. In your face! I can't do the knee slap. Ah! And then they clap and they run off and they're like, they're dead. Also, the movie also brought up another, technically it's an era, but it's not really an era, but it's just kind of a ridiculous thing to mention. SpongeBob drives a sandwich car in the movie. So it's like, wait a minute, so you can't get a boating license, but you can get a sandwich license. And then we get the famous line, you don't need a license to drive a sandwich. And everyone lost their shit because it was amazing, it was hilarious. In terms of the characters, I don't have a problem with any of them. I like all of them because they all seem to have, like obviously you have Patrick, best friend, who's even dumber than SpongeBob is. So we have a lot of moments in which that man will say the most ridiculous shit. I mean, he's quotable in a lot of situations, like the whole "my name is" situation, which he has two specific jokes from that. The first one, when he's working at the Krusty Krab, and he's like, "Hello, this is Krusty Krab." "No, this is Patrick." He does that 6 times. And then the other one, when him and Patrick, when SpongeBob and him are having that fight, and Patrick ends up joining the chum bucket for that whole fry cook games. And Patrick's like, like SpongeBob runs up with the erasers, like, and goes down to his name tag and rips and like erases the pat. He's like, "My name's not Rick." I like Patrick. Squidward has that kind of fucked up comedy, meaning, I mean, obviously, stereotypically, Squidward is like that dude in which every time something fun or jovialous is going on, he's that dude in the back going, "I hate everything. Life sucks. What is the point to it all?" He's also the type of character who's easily jealous and gets really mad when he's not the center of attention or when people think he sucks, which is like most of the time because bad taste in music, not good at playing said music, and just a grumpy asshole like all the time. Which is why when he has his episodes devoted to him, it's kind of funny but sad. Because it's always him going out the deep end. Like, Squidward has, like, extremes. That man is never in the middle. He's either really, really bored and I don't give a fuck mode, or he's, like, really insane to it. I mean, for example, the fucking Snowball episode. When they're just playing in the snow, Squidward's like, "Ah, the snow is stupid." And then SpongeBob and Patrick kind of convert him into the snow. And that man gets insane about it. "I have to build a fort." And he just builds this ridiculous ass fort, and SpongeBob and Patrick don't even care anymore. Or, for example, the Krabby Patty situations. Either I've never eaten a Krabby Patty before, or I'm addicted to them, and that's where he goes. He never, I like that. He never wants to just chill in the middle. He can't just be happy, or like it's like what was the whole thing about him trying to be rich when he quit the Krusty Krab and tried to do his own shit? He's either has a job, or he's just dead ass broke. By the way, it was one of the funniest episodes. It was one of those few episodes where you actually see SpongeBob get legitimately pissed off and like, "I don't give a fuck anymore." Because he was like, "I made you a suit. It's special." And it has like, "get a job" in it. And he keeps enforcing that. And I'm like, SpongeBob, just fucking tell him, stop dicking around with it. It's not that big of a deal. If I had to pick some favorite characters, it'd probably be SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy. Those are my 3 favorites. And people were like, "Why Sandy?" Now, Sandy is kind of an interesting situation. But first off, once again, gave us one of the most quotable lines, period. Well, not really her, but from what SpongeBob reacted to the episode, it was focused around her in, which was the whole, he didn't want to admit that he needed water in the tree dome. And it's stupid. Patrick's like, "You have to be fancy with the pinky." Like, old school SpongeBob is so quotable. But like, new school SpongeBob, I have not heard any new lines from any of the newer episodes, or anything really to push anything. Because the newer episodes don't they have more to live up to, but they have less material to work from. But going back to why I like Sandy, because she's like the level-headed one, but at the same time, because she's a girl. And I'm not saying there's a feminist thing there, because it really isn't. They don't really ironically, many episodes focus around the fact that she's a girl. I do like the Kill Bill parody they did with her, where it's like, because her and SpongeBob are into karate, By the way, as a side note, SpongeBob has the most inconsistent physical strength I've ever seen. Because in most episodes, he's weak as shit. But for some reason, when he's playing karate with Sandy, 90% of the time, at the very least, he can keep up with her. And in some situations, he beats her. So I'm like, so he's strong enough to fight Sandy, who we know was a fucking badass in terms of strength. But he's not strong enough to, say, break a rock or pick up. What was the stupid one where he got those dumbass muscles? And he was in the beach trying to impress Sandy. And he couldn't even pick up. No, he was trying to compete with Larry the Lobster. He tried to pick up the drink and he couldn't do it, so he had to like stretch his mouth out to suck on the straw. I'm like, wow. So you can fight Sandy on somewhat even ground, but you can't pick up a goddamn cup. I mean, granted, it's not that big of a deal, but it's like old school SpongeBob just has a lot of quotable things. SpongeBob in general was just fun as hell to watch. And I think I liked it because, yeah, it had it's an episodic show, like a lot of American cartoons. But it was like, the level of ridiculousness it could get just fucking blew me out of the water. Also, it gave us another quote from it. My leg! Or, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, hey, I'm ready, hey, I'm ready. It just, SpongeBob is my shit. I have a clock over here that SpongeBob wanted, but things happened and SpongeBob got dislocated from his legs, which we've seen before, but you know, in real world you can't do that. Actually, speaking of that, that's another episode I like. The whole stupid thing about how Sandy couldn't survive underwater without the helmet, and SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs, Patrick, and Squidward could not survive in the air, which was really, really dumb, but really, really funny. Particularly because we got this thing what like their real life selves look like, and they trolled the shit out of Squidward because when they went up above water, everybody looked normal. But Squidward still has the big ass nose and the eyes. And you see the fucking pelican, it's like, oh shit! Oh, was pelican? No, seagull. That's not the point. Sandy's was ridiculous too, because she just said, fuck this shit. Like, she took off. It's kind of funny. Sandy stripped and threw and just chilled in the water. By the way, the pickle jar thing didn't make sense. By the way, the pickle jar was already underwater to begin with. How in the fuck could Sandy use that to breathe? Oh, that's right. She would just die, and you know we can't have that kind of level of darkness in a SpongeBob cartoon. Even though SpongeBob has been pretty regular in terms of other things, like the episode based around cursing. I kinda wish they would make like an uncensored cursing, and it'd just be a whole bunch of C phrases like, you know, barnacle or fish paste, like the ones they use anyway, but just take like really obscure like fish or sea related puns and use that as the basis of the joke. Shit was funny. SpongeBob was fun. SpongeBob was a lot of fun. I will still say anything from 1999 to 2006 was my shit. SpongeBob was one of those Nickelodeon cartoons I was really fucking dedicated to, because it was really funny, really addictive, and the episodes were just memorable. I mean, there were so many memorable and quotable lines. Most people still use them as jokes now, like the Ugly Barnacle story. And we all know the Ugly Barnacle story, don't we, fellas? Come on, kids, gather around. We're going to talk about the Ugly Barnacle. Here we go. Once upon a time, there was an ugly barnacle. He was so ugly that everyone died. The end. SpongeBob was G. SpongeBob was on G level. You couldn't even fuck with that. And actually, I think he was pretty much running Nick for a while, if not still, actually. Because he's like one of the last good cartoons. And I guess the Fairly Odd Parents, I think, is still going, right? Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. I don't know if I would argue whether I would say SpongeBob had good morals. I guess it could, but most of the episodes weren't meant that. Like, I really just view SpongeBob as mindless entertainment with just very clever and ridiculous jokes. Also, it's the other reason why I love being a goofy goober. I swear to God, that song became I was addicted to that song for about a year and a half after I heard that movie. I'm a goofy goober, yeah, you're a goofy goober. Yes, and I understand this is Johnny Bravo dance. Fuck you. We're all goofy goobers, yeah, goofy goober goober. I love SpongeBob. Just no joke. I just love SpongeBob. Period. I mean, even if I don't like his newer shit, I still appreciate SpongeBob for what he is and what he kind of did for Nick. Because as I said, he was one of the newer cartoons to really push Nick in terms of the cartoon realm forward, and you gotta appreciate him. Even if his newer episodes aren't as good, everybody will still quote the shit out of the old ones. I also like the specials, like the Caveman special. I don't specifically remember what it was called. I even like the Christmas special, which was that whole... I think one of the bigger what the fuck episodes to me though was when they were still doing the 15 minutes a piece thing, you know, where they didn't have like a full episode devoted to one thing. Actually, I don't think SpongeBob has changed from that format. I think I'm just being stupid. And one of the episodes was dedicated, I think it was a Halloween themed episode, at least it felt like it. Well, there's two of them. First one was the whole, he tried to make himself like a ghost, nigga look like a bed sheet. He like cut off part of his sponge until he was just a brain with a face. And this shit was terrifying. But the one that confused me the most was the Curse of the Were-Snail. And I don't know how many of you remember it because it was really old. It was like, I think it was within like the first season or two of SpongeBob, in which Gary was sick and they needed to administer some type of like, I guess snail shit. I don't fucking know. Anyways, they missed. No, he needed fucking Squidward to do it, and SpongeBob kept moving Gary, and like he hit SpongeBob in the nose, and it turned into this whole thing about because he got hit with the shit, it made him turn into a snail. I don't know about anyone, but I saw that when I first saw that sequence scared the shit out of me just because I was confused. I was so confused about what was going on. I was like, how do you make a were-snail? How's that even a thing? That nigga's arms absorbed into his body. His fucking legs disintegrate. I was like, oh my god. And the nigga started meowing like a cat. Apparently sea snails meow. I mean, I get it. You know, house cat, house snail, I get it. But also there's so many episodes I want to talk about, but that's besides the point. Let me stop rambling. Please leave yours, thoughts, and comments and your favorite episodes in the description below. I know I haven't done a Nostalgia Rush in a while. Leave suggestions for more. I have some in my head, but you know, fan feedback is always appreciated. Anyways, saying Game Freak, the intro's been running for years. Still fucking love that whole SpongeBob SquarePants, but it's just another story. Life's a game. Play to win, and I'll catch you guys later. I can't hear you. I am